So let's talk about your life after high school. Did you end up playing college basketball, or did you end up? Yeah, because I remember, we finished high school, and then for when people went to college, like we lost a little bit of connection, and so I'm really curious as to like what you did after high school.
Yeah, for sure. I went down to San Diego to a community college called Miramar.
Okay.
And basically the setup before I got there was pretty much like I understood, well, I kind of knew, but like I was getting introduced to kind of like the junior college, I guess, like set up for sports, right?
Yeah.
Like you only have 2 years.
Right.
And so a lot of what I learned was, and what was hard for me, I think, at the time to deal with because of just like who I was as an athlete.
Yeah.
Was like giving time to someone else that was just because they're a sophomore, like they're just a second year, and like it's the system, we're trying to get them out,
right,
and like I'm all for trying to get people out and get them scholarships or just on teams and continue their playing career. But when I got there, we had like a month of like summer run, so that was like cool. We like go down and you just kind of like get into the mix.
Yeah.
And when the season was about to start and kind of like second month into school, it was basically like this, we're rolling with this point guard. It's our guy. And for me, it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm not going to play. It wasn't that. It was more so just like I was told one thing when I was coming here.
Yeah.
It's playing out to not be that.
Okay.
And like I don't like being, it's not really like I wasn't like two-timed, but it was just like I don't like, this isn't the situation that I thought I was coming into. And so also within that, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I missed home a lot, like just the structure of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't ready, I think, to just fully unleash myself and go into college life. I think having an older sibling and being around older people, all my best friends are like a year or two older than me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I didn't really like want the like college life. I think I'd got to go like visit my brother all the time in Santa Cruz. Like not seen it, done it. But it was just kind of like I don't know what this experience is gonna provide. I don't know what I want from the experience. I guess I should say.
Right.
And I'm not just gonna go through it because like that's what I'm quote unquote supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I'd be the first person in the protest line of just like you're making a kid pick what he wants to do for like possibly the rest of his life.
Right.
At 17, 18 years old. Granted, you can switch, right? Like I have a bunch of my brother's friends that I saw graduate when I was graduating high school. Were bio degrees getting jobs in tech, and it's like where the hell do those two things line up, right? But since this guy has a degree, he's more qualified than I am, right? And it's just like automatically filters me out. But I basically went to San Diego, stayed there for like 3 months, didn't really like the situation, moved back to the Bay, was basically at that point where it was like I can continue playing, continue try to like go to COA and do my thing and get credits and go. So I did that for about a year and a half on and off. And then I just felt like I'm in the mix of things, but I don't feel in the mix. Like I feel very separated from like what I really have a passion for. I have no idea. If I could sit there and tell you I had to pick like a particular area to study, it'd just be business, because that's like everyone does business. Right. But like I didn't really have a direction in where I wanted to go in life. And so if there was advice I could give, it'd be like, yo, man, just go try things. You know what I mean? Like that's your time to really try and expose yourself to things. And so I just basically started working. I started, at least my parents were never like, you have to go to college. You have to be a doctor. You have to like kind of set this up for yourself, be smart. But like you're kind of open and free to do whatever you want. And so I started working, started to be at least able to like earn money and understanding that aspect of things. And in 2016, it was basically just like I finally found a moment where I felt ready and comfortable to just move out. And it was like, I'm going to take the complete leap of faith. Luckily, I had like contacts and my best friend down here already kind of set up, so it was easier to kind of roll in. But it was basically like, I got to get out of here now. And that was kind of like, I still don't feel like I needed a college experience. I still am happy with where I got to in life. without that. And so what it showed me was like you can take a lot of different paths in life, right? You can take the structured path, you can take the unstructured path, you could take on a combination of both, and kind of picking and choosing. But at the end of the day, what always remains is like the hard work that is instilled in you, kind of the values and morals you carry with you, and who you are as a person, can really affect, honestly, at the end of the day, what you do and how you do it. And so did I think that I always thought that basketball was going to like play a role in my life. I didn't know like at what point, at one point it was looking very like, basketball is not it anymore. You know, like basketball's not it, because it was so much like either you're playing or like you're not involved with it. Because coaching for me was really tough, because it was like, I want to just go and do it, but I can't. I gotta like teach the steps. I gotta like backtrack it all, and I wasn't good at like just coaching holistically. Skills training and stuff like that I could kind of lock into. But like I wouldn't want like the project of like building someone who's never played basketball up to playing basketball, right? It'd just be like, you're already got some skill. Let me put you into that. But I always thought basketball would play some type of role, but it was looking real bleak at one point. But then down the road, basketball played a huge role in just me being able to network with people. And basketball really became like a meeting grounds. It became kind of like similar to like a meeting that you have in business, where it's just you're getting different people from different areas of life. And you're kind of coming together to play a game, and 4 people you got to work with that you probably haven't played with before. And I know I played a lot of like street basketball, but I like a structured basketball. I hate basketball that's like chicken with his head cut off and you're running around and like, you know, everyone's kind of just doing this, doing that. And so basketball actually allowed me to meet Eddie. And that's where we met, is kind of playing in a rec basketball league, which like is probably like one of the most mediocre. It's fun league, but like one of the most mediocre competition leagues. There's literally like our team and like a couple other teams that are like actually good.
So it was a structured basketball organization, kind of like AAU.
It was like it's just like a rec league. So it's just like, you know, people pay like $500 a team. You can have X amount of people on the team that you want. Some of them have like height limits. This one was like Asian, so like you needed like certain amount of Asian people, I think, in it. So we were like, all right, we need certain amount. Let's just make the whole team Asian. So the whole team became Asian. But no, I basically just joined this team, and he happened to be on it. I had no idea that he was going to be on it.
So this is post you moving down to OC, and then you joined a rec. Is this in OC or was this in like the LA area?
So in 2016, moved from Bay to OC. From 2016, 2018, I was in OC. This league started, I believe, I had been down here for like a year and a half. And so in the Bay, where like all my brother's friends and everybody was like, we were always playing a basketball league. And so for me, like part of it was like playing basketball, winning a game, playing a game every Sunday or Wednesday. Like you have a game at this time, right? Like there was something about that. But what I started to see, you know, at like 17, 18, 19, while I'm hanging out with like 24, 25-year-olds, is like, it's really about like hanging out afterwards, like the networking, like the bonding, like the fun stuff, right? And so it was like I missed kind of that like older like crowd, like that half generation, that is just, you know, they're not really talking about work, but they're just talking about stuff, stocks, like life, you know, these things, that thing, like not life insurance talk yet, but like, you know, it was like just having adult talk and adult kind of like mindset and thinking. And I was like, I like that. I'm not thinking about any of this now, but like, I like that. I like being around, like hearing it. And so I had been here for a year and a half and it was like, I need to find a basketball league. Like, I don't care if there's like one person I know on the team or there's like 10 people, like I just need to play in a league. And so this league is in SGV. So it's like kind of, way East LA, but is like was an hour drive for me to play like a 45-minute game, right? And so I had known one of my other childhood friends, Mitchell Ito. He was already on the team, so he was my first person that was like, I just need a league. I don't care if it's in LA, I don't care if it's in San Diego, and I just tell me where to go. Like I just want to play. And so it happened to be on Sundays, which is obviously cool. It was a weekend. But I told him like, I'm not going to drive an hour, play, and then drive back an hour. Like I want to make like at least a day out of it. So let's golf. Let's like hang out. Let me take a shower at your house. Like, you know, let me eat some of your snacks, like something, you know what I mean? And so we were able to kind of, I negotiated my terms of my contract to join this team. But yeah, we were basically just on Sunday mornings was kind of the league, ongoing league. So it just kind of re-rolls every like quarter. So just imagine like every season is basically following like the weather pattern, right? There's a spring league, summer league, fall league, and a winter moment, and kind of like the fall winter segment. But I joined, and like I had heard Eddie talk about Mitch on a podcast, and he was basically calling Mitch like James Harden, who doesn't pass and like hogs the ball. And so I had known that they had played with each other, but I had no idea that he was on this team. And so I literally show up the first day. I'm like walking through the gym. Everyone's on like the baseline. And I'm just saying what's up to people. And he's the last person. And like I had obviously known who he was. I followed what he did. And it was just like, all right, like keep your shit together, you know? And just say what's up, be cool, you know, wipe your palms, don't be sweaty. But yeah, I just said what's up, and it was pretty much a wrap from that, man.
So, okay, so let's be honest, like, is Eddie good at basketball? Like, I have no idea, like, what
Eddie's old, but he's good.
Okay. Like, is he a post player, or is he kind of like...
He's Mark Jackson, like he's definitely old Knicks Mark Jackson, with like an Eric Gordon stick your butt out jumper, you know, because he's kind of got like the fat man, like, you know, movement. He's not super agile, but he is probably one of the smartest people I've ever played with. Knows the game. We see it very similarly. We're able to. He always finds me on like cuts, and passes. So he's very smart. And so even if he's not like physically affecting the game, he can see how things go. And he will always try to rely on his defense. And his defense is like, if he can't stay in front of you, then he's just gonna try to like steamroll you and run you over and like hold you. He's gonna play football, you know. And it's like cool. It's like you always want that guy on your team, not playing against him.
That's a big man syndrome.
It's a big man syndrome. But he's got your back. Like he's like a Draymond Green, you know. Like you just feel comfortable with him on the floor.
Very cool.
And it's just about him, you know, having confidence in his jump shot or not. But extremely high IQ. I can say that for sure.
Yeah. Even when he talks, I could tell, like, you know, he definitely has a very sharp mind. And so, so like, let's go into that relationship and how you took that like outside of the basketball court and how you got him to know him on a personal level.
I think for me, what helped me was like, I always was like, I mean, I think like when you meet someone that you look like admire or look up to and respect, I think you always want to like, at first kind of explain that to them. You're always like, oh, I want to make sure that they like understand that, like, you know, I respect them so much, and you get super Asian on them. But I told myself, like, you know, see, this first time, I'm not, this ain't the last time I'm going to see him. And if anything, like, just play it cool. You'll have a time to talk about food and travel, because I didn't really know that he was like a big writer like that. And so I just knew, like, I knew he wrote a book, but he just had TV shows, and he had a show where he was like food travel. So I was like, there'll be a time where I could talk to him about that, but like, I'm not going to force it down his throat. And like, as our relationship grew, he like mentioned that he was like, you're the only person on that team that didn't try to like pull me to the side and like have this side conversation of like, yo man, like, what can you do for me? You know what I mean? Like, you know, what's up? And he was like, I like really respect that. And I was like, well, I told him, I was like, dude, like, I wanted to, I'll be honest with you. Like, I wanted to, but like, I also knew, like, if I were you, it's Sunday morning at 10. Like, I ain't trying to talk about like stuff, you know, I'm just trying to hoop, go eat something, go home. You know what I mean? And so that's how we really bonded over that. But I think our first initial connection was I came into this team and I was like, I'll be the most like moldable piece you want me to be. You want me to score? Got you. You want me to facilitate? Got you. I never play defense, but if you want me to play defense, I will try. I understand that, like, I'm athletic and can move around, right? And I love the challenge. And so I think he really respected me coming in and not trying to be like, he was like, dude, you were clearly the best person on this team. It's not to gas me up, but he was like, this is clearly you're the best person on this team. but like you don't want to take my starting spot.
Yeah.
You don't want to be super aggressive on certain stuff. You don't force things, and you just try to like make the thing flow.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I would hate it if someone came new to my team and just started like enforcing what they wanted to do, because like that's just how they play.
Right.
I was like, I could play multiple different styles, and like again, this isn't so much about like winning or losing for me. It's more so just like hanging with the homies and kicking it with the boys and like creating new bonds and friendships. Like that's all I care about. And so we really bonded over that, and he really respected that. And so he called me one day, because I was doing personal training, and I was working at a Japanese restaurant, in a yakitori restaurant. And he called me one day, and he was like, yo, do you want to, it's funny, he was like, do you want to help me at this like cooking event? We had talked about food and stuff, and it was for the Crazy Rich Asians DVD release party. And they had like 3 different nights. So it was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. Different chef each night, 2 different seatings on each night. And he was the last one. So he was like, I'm kind of wrapping this thing up. I'm trying to give everybody a banger. This is what I'm trying to do. And so we had a whole team. And so I was just hyped to go and like cook with him. So I got to go cook with him. I got to learn some of his like technique about certain dishes. He'd always pull me to the side and kind of just like, you know, ask me a question. Do you enjoy this? Like, what's going on? And so we really got to like chop it up and talk. And so that event passed. And then in December of 2018, he asked me to cook a like friend's holiday party. So it's a store called Union. They've done a bunch of collab with like Jordan brand and stuff now.
Very cool.
But huge fun men's boutique like streetwear store. He was like, yeah, we have like 20 people, and like, you know, we usually just go to a bar, like rent out the bar, we get faded and like fucked up, and then everyone goes home. You know, he's like, I want a more like intimate experience, expose people to different stuff. And so Eddie flew his parents in. We cooked like a super traditional Taiwanese menu.
Very cool.
And that was what really sparked us working together. Is his mom saw me working in the kitchen with him. And so the previous event, we had like 8 other people. It was a huge team. You know, we're cooking for like hundreds of people. So it's like, you know, we have a whole squad. This one, since it's only like 20, we made a lot of dishes, but it was like a way tighter team. It was more so just kind of like Eddie, myself, and his parents kind of like prepping everything, and then at some point cooking stuff. And so his mom, we were making string beans, and his mom saw me like ask Eddie, like, you know, I was put him in, and it was like testing him, like take one out at a minute. Is this how you want it? No, cooking longer. Okay, add this in it. Is this how it's supposed to taste? And she was like, this guy has asked you like probably like 7 questions in 3 minutes, but he's just making sure that he's like doing it right, and he follows, and like he listens. He's not a robot, but like he listens. He takes direction. So she was like, Eddie, I think you should pay attention to this guy. And so the event goes by, and like half of a week goes by, and he calls me on like a Wednesday, and he's like, yo, Tay, what's up, man? Like, how you doing? I'm like, good, chilling, like about to take a nap. And he's like, yo, man, like I think you're about to be like pretty good at anything you do in life. And I was like, for sure. Like, I've always thought the same, you know, like that's what's up. Thank you. Like, it means a lot. But he was like, no, man, like, have you ever thought about working in the entertainment industry? And I was like, not a day in my life, because like, I don't want to, you know, I have no idea how I would get into it, and I have no idea what I would do. And like, it seems pretty crazy to be like involved in that. Like, I'm okay. But I'm open. I'll listen to you. And so, he asked me to be his assistant. And so that was going to require me to move from OC to LA. I had literally in November just re-signed my lease in OC. And so I was like, damn, I'm thinking about that. But he was like, think about it. Let me know. Like, it was approaching Christmas time. So he was like, at the new year, I'd like to have like an assistant, you know, rolling forward for the new year. And so he was like, think about it. So in my head, I was like, I'm going to do it. But I just like the logistics of things, I have no idea how I'm going to pull this off. And so was able to move to LA, and I started working with him I would show up just at his house every single day, and I helped him everything from like restaurant things. He owned Bauhaus, to entertainment stuff. So it was like learning about like writing and scripts, and like I had never seen a script before in my life. But the first thing he gave me, literally the first thing. So I think he called me on like, let's just call it like the 15th of December. By like the 22nd of December, I was home in the Bay for Christmas, and I get an email from him, and it's the script of Boogie. And he in his email is just like, I don't care if we do anything else this year. I've always wanted to make a movie. I've always wanted, just my dream.
Yeah.
I wrote this and I'm trying to direct it, and like, you know, we're trying to sell it basically right now. He's like, I've had it for years, and I'm just like, this is it. This is it for me. I want to make a film about an Asian kid playing basketball. Yeah. So I read it and I was like, holy shit, man. Like, this kid, I think my first note back to him in an email, which my notes were absolutely terrible, but it was like, this kid's a lot like me, you know? And I was like, it's cool to see, like, it's like you've known me without knowing me, and you've written this script kind of about me. Obviously, I'm not from New York. I don't know nothing about the New York basketball scene outside of just the aura of it. But like, this is a cool script, man. And so he dropped that off to me. I read it. We went through like 6 months of just work. And then June hits, and we're getting ready for like the green light meeting. He had poked and prodded around to me like, I think you should play this kid. You know, you've said that, you've mentioned it multiple times that like, this is kind of your, like, this is your bag. This is kind of like you. And I was like, yeah, but like, dude, like, no, I don't want to be in a movie. Like, you know, like I'm going to be like, I have no experience and I have no desire to be that. It's like, no, stop, chill, hire like a real actor, you know? And so June comes, we go to, Focus, his office is in NBC Universal. We're in there. Eddie gives a pitch, probably the best pitch I've ever seen for any selling of anything, right? Because it's like so close to him. And we walk out of that meeting just feeling like, wow, that was great, right? A couple of days later, we get a call back, movie's greenlit. Like pandemonium, great. But then it's also like celebrate, but then also like, you're celebrating to like work the hardest you're ever gonna have to work, right?
For sure.
And so me not knowing anything about the movie industry, I was just kind of hyped because it was like, cool, I'm gonna get to see this guy's script kind of come to life. I'm gonna get to see his like vision on how he sees things come to life, and like that's gonna be pretty fun, pretty powerful. Just to be behind the scenes, like what access I get, and so. We moved to New York. He moves like a month before I do, gets settled in, does his thing. And I come over, and basically my job of what I was doing, I had watched all of the casting. I had watched Perry. I had watched Pamela.
Wow.
Taylor wasn't on yet, but I had seen, you know, renditions of all of our main hero characters. I actually picked a Boogie to play Boogie before me.
Oh, really?
I had picked a kid. We'd watched him, and it was like, really what we were fighting was like, do you want better acting, not as good basketball? You want better basketball, not as good acting. Right. We chose the kid that looked like he was going to be a better actor. And my job of why I was out there so early was to basically work out with him and coach him in basketball. And so that was literally my job title was basketball coordinator. That was my $2,000 a month job when I got signed on was basketball coordinator. And so within that was diagramming plays to give to the cinematographer, our DP, Brett Yukowicz, to understand how they were going to shoot it and get a feel for like, okay, this is the movement. How are you going to move the camera? And so I did all this behind the scenes work up until pre-production, and literally 2 days before pre-production start, which was like 3 weeks out before our principal photography started, Eddie meets me at the door, tells me, yo, I need your like phone and laptop. And I was like, fuck, I'm fired. Like, what did I do? I'm here on time. I've been doing good. Notes have been great. What happened? And he was like, fool, what are you talking about? Right. And I was like, oh, you're asking for my stuff. And he handed me a piece of paper, and it was scene 44. I'll never forget it. It was the scene that I'm talking to my dad, Perry, on the couch. We're watching the Chang Lendl tennis match. And so he was like, take as much time as you want. I honestly at first thought he wanted to just like see how something was gonna play out. And so I was like, oh, okay, I just gotta be like be a fake character real quick, you know? And so when he told me like, we're going to put it on camera and we're going to try this thing out, I was like, wait, this is for like me. And this is kind of like an audition. I watched all the kids, all the people do this audition. This is it. And so I was like, cool, fine. He's like, take whatever amount of time you want. You can have the afternoon, whatever you want. No emails, no nothing. Like just concentrate on this. Basically locked me in a room. And I read it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Ate a sandwich, and after I ate my sandwich, it was like, let's try it.
Yeah.
And like I had the feeling of just being like, I don't care. I'm not supposed to be good at this. I'm gonna actually, in my head, it was like, I'm gonna play it how I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
And I think it'll show you that like I'm not right for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did it. We took a couple of takes, and he sent it into the studio. That was like a Thursday.
Yeah.
By Monday, I was Boogie.